Leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, was a terrible scourge which happily has almost entirely disappeared. Contrary to popular belief, it is not very contagious, but the Gospel mentions how widespread it was in biblical times. There were many in the time of Elisha. Poor Naaman had almost given up hope on a cure, had tried everything, seemed rejected by Elisha. On his way home, angry and discontented, when his staff begged him, the story teaches two main things. Life has many burdens, but nothing is ever completely hopeless. The English actor Stephen Fry once ranted on Irish television about the tongue lashing he would give to God, if there was a God, for making such a cruelly unjust and topsy-turvy world. In effect, he was saying, if this world was made by God, He made a hopeless mess of it. Because of Jesus, we can have a very different view of the world. He encourages us to see the positive side of life, lilies of field, the birds of the air, seasons of growth and harvest, joy of children, practice of mercy and charity, and how to be grateful for life's blessings. The darker side of life, sickness, misfortune, loneliness, betrayal by others, the pains of old age, He invites us to embrace in the spirit of faith as sharing in His cross. Accepting with patience what we cannot change has, it seems, a saving power of its own. The other great teacher of hope was the Apostle Paul. All of creation groaning in one great act of giving birth, all the hard times he had as a missionary. I fill out in my own life what is lacking in the suffering of Christ for the sake of His body. This was the same spirit that kept St. Francis Xavier going in Far East despite sickness, weariness, fever, and failure. Hope is in short supply in our times. Disillusionment with the politicians, distrust of church leaders, apparent inability of the medical to provide early treatment, falling off of personal belief in divine providence and the wise and loving care God has for us, high rates of drug and alcohol abuse among young people. We need to pray for them. Times for keeping up. Hope when things go wrong. In a marriage where there's a conflict, or when partner dies and one is left to get on with life, or a relationship has ended and you're trying to cope with a new situation, not to just slide into a decline. In The King and I, whenever I feel afraid, good enough advice as far as it goes, but our faith asks us to go further and put our hope in God, who won't let us down. St. Paul of the Cross, founder of the Passionists, had a great devotion to Our Lady of Holy Hope. Though living a simple life in a poor rural village, our Blessed Lady was full of hope and joy, because He who is mighty has done great things in me. No matter what age we are at, we may find new well springs of hope for ourselves and for others, if, like Naaman, we put aside our pride and trust in the Lord. He will never let us down. That I may continue to grow in the virtue of humility in my life, let's pray for this grace for one another.